Hey, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another installment of Dear Deja. Alrighty, before I get reading on this letter, you guys know the drill. Make sure you go hit the thumbs up, like the video, stay here. Stay here. After you like the video, stay here. Stay here. Don't leave. I want you to listen to the commentary in its entirety because, in the end, in the comments, I want to see your feedback about what I shared today. And also, if you are not a subscriber, please subscribe to the channel. I truly appreciate it. Okay, let's get started on this Dear Deja letter. Boom, here we go. Dear Deja, I'm a geriatric mom. Ooh, I'm going to be as well. Meaning I decided to get pregnant in the latter years of my life. Because of that and everything I've seen with parenting and children for the last 48 years, I'm very cautious about what I want my baby to be exposed to. Anywho, I have a very sensitive and aware 4-year-old whose feelings I'm well aware I need to safeguard and nurture while navigating this cruel world we live in. Cool. But I come from a family of Southern rebels who curse like sailors and say whatever comes to mind to whomever they see fit. My baby doesn't see the entire family on a regular basis, but she does visit my cousin very often as of lately because she just moved into my neighborhood and our girls are very close in age. My cousin has a sharp Southern tongue, so her language can be very colorful even to her own children at times. With my daughter visiting more often, my cousin feels the comfort to speak to my daughter the same way. Although she doesn't mean any harm, the name calling and vulgarity spewed at my daughter makes me uncomfortable because I feel like it can do some damage to my daughter's self esteem. She's also regurgitated some of this colorful language in front of her dad, and he is now questioning where she picked this up from. I want to approach my cousin about this, but I don't want to do so in a way that offends her. Please help. I can't stomach my Cussin Cuzzin. All right. Well, first off, congratulations. Congratulations on being what looks like it's been 4 years, but I'll just still say a new mom, a first time mom. Congratulations. You're schooling me a little bit from what you shared in this letter because I'm clearly going to be a geriatric mom as well, as I am over 40, but don't look a day over 22. Okay, but yes, congratulations, wow. And that also gives me hope because of course you hear from everyone, oh, your clock is ticking, you're not gonna have much time. Listen, hoes is having a baby at 50, leave me the fuck alone. Okay, Ashanti is currently pregnant, she's 43. Word on the curb, allegedly. Anywho, let's get back to your letter. For my new folks who've just got here, make sure you get your sip. Right before I go into my feedback, once again, go hit the thumbs up and like the video. Stay here for its entireties so you can hear all my commentary, so you can give me your feedback in the comments. And if you have not subscribed to the channel, please feel free to do so. Secondly, also for my newcomers, if you are here, the Dear Deja segment of my YouTube channel is about I run a trauma center support network where I give one-on-one sessions, family sessions, couple sessions, adolescent sessions. I run all types of one-on-one sessions, centered around trauma, right? Because I want folks to get the healing that they need. It's called Operation Heal 100 Hearts. You can follow me on Instagram, right? Hence the shirt. I do it for the income. I don't do it for, I do it. I don't do it for the income. I do it for the outcome, right? Because I love to see folks on their healing journey because that makes them better people. But sometimes folks are a little apprehensive or embarrassed to come and sit for a one-on-one session. So they write me these Dear Deja letters anonymously so they can get my feedback without having to sit in my face to get it. I always share with folks that Healing Heart Sessions is not about anybody else. So you get a little bit of time to share with me some of your concerns and your issues and the things that you're growing through. And you will discuss other people because most times it has something to do with the other people. But I don't give you time to discuss those other people in length because Healing Heart Sessions are for you and what you need and how you are going to become a better person. So in this situation, it sounds like with this letter, you need assistance with how to confront your cousin because you don't want to get under her skin, and maybe the relationship might sour if you are offensive in approaching her about this. You said something in this letter about family, right? And it sounds like your family is a particular way. All families are, right? So you have some families that are very uptight and prestigious. You have some families that are very wild and crazy. You have some families that are very funny. My family, right? Very funny. My family don't hesitate to crack jokes on you. They're going to do that no matter who you are, no matter how long you've been around. You here, you getting ranked on, right? They don't mean no harm. It's just what my family does, right? So every family has their way about them. So what it sounds like is your family is more used to using what you call colorful language, aka profanity, right? Another thing that you said though that stuck out for me was it doesn't just seem like it's only profanity, which could mean go sit your ass down. It sounds like you said something about vulgarity and name calling, if I'm correct, which means that it ain't only go sit your ass down. It could also be go sit your ugly ass down, right? That's what I'm receiving from what you shared in the letter. Right. I said this the other day in my live. I don't know if you guys have checked out my unpopular opinion. It's a playlist on this YouTube channel. Please go check it out. And one of my most recent ones, I talked about King and T.I. and Tiny and safeguarding and protecting children. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that here because that's pretty much what it sounds like you want to do, but you're trying to find a strategic way to do it where everybody feel safeguarded and protected, right? My dad told me this. Today is actually, it's crazy how God works because I'm actually about to use something he shared with me. Today is the 18th anniversary of his death, right? Rest in peace, Dad. Love you and miss you. But let me also use one of the gems that he dropped on me when I was very, very young that I never forgot. He said to me, it was his life's purpose. His life's purpose had became, once he had children, to protect and love his children. And that was it. So when it came down to working, coaching, because he coached football, or any of the other jobs or blessings that God gave him throughout his life, all of that became secondary and fell to the wayside once he became a parent. Right? He said because his feeling is that his only job once God blessed him with children was to protect and love and care for his children. Right? So I live with that every day of my life because it was something that he said that I believe in. It stuck with me. And because that's my belief, I would like to pass that on to you. Right? So I think that it is a beautiful thing to want to consider everybody's feelings, especially the feelings of the folks that you love. Right? You definitely want to consider people that you love's feelings and emotions because you know that's how things go left when you don't. But if those feelings and those emotions being considered comes at the expense of the blessing that God gave you, which is your child, I don't know if you should allow that to be primary. So I'm going to say this. My first suggestion would be, I think that you have to get in the mind of, I have to protect my child. I have to. That's numero uno. I have to protect my child. Now, I also want to say that with compassion, because what it seemed like you shared in the letter was that I want to protect my child, but not because I feel like my child is in danger maliciously. I got that. I got what you were saying, right? I don't think that your cousin is waiting for your daughter to come over and call her all of these names that she knows is going to hurt her feelings. No. It seems like what you were saying is that that's just my cousin's second nature to do it because that's how we were raised. That's what my family does, right? So what's happening is not happening with malicious intent, right? She's not just saying, oh, I don't know who the fuck my cousin thinks she is, but let me curse her daughter. No. Like you said, this is the way she speaks to her children, and because she's now in her mind incorporating your daughter into the fold of one of hers, she's just doing what she would normally do, right? So I think it is going to be easy in a sense to approach this, because you don't have to go with the mindset of, oh, my cousin is doing something to hurt me or hurt my child. No, 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 no. If she's talking to her own children like that, and now your child is coming over and hanging with her kids, I think she all looking at them as one, and she's just doing what she normally does. Now, what I do get that you're saying is that even though that's what she normally does, that's not normal for my child, and I don't want to make it normal for her, because I don't want her to get used to those things, right? But I have a question. And I want to know, right, if this is what your family's norm is and this is what you come from, A, why isn't it embedded in you? And if it isn't embedded in you and you are so much against it, I'm inclined to believe that there's a backstory about how it made you feel, which is why you want to make sure you safeguard your child from feeling what you felt when those things were done to you. Right? And I know sometimes in Healing Heart sessions, I might be a little bit too intuitive. So people are like, bitch, you're reaching. It's not that deep. I personally don't feel like I'm reaching. I feel like most times, if not all the time, the things that I'm sharing make sense, because I can see a connection and a correlation. It feels like, to me, you feel like the things that your cousin is saying is hurtful. And I think you feel like it can hurt your daughter. And of course, you want to protect your baby. But my only question is, if you're thinking that way and it's what your family does, and I'm almost sure that they were doing it to you as well, are you feeling that way for your daughter because that's the way that you felt when it was done to you? Right? And I think that if that's the case, then that's a standpoint that we need to work from, so you can know how to address this. Because if it's something that was done to you and it hurts you, my next question would be, would you be able to address it properly without your feelings spilling all over the place, because it is also something that hurt you as well? You know? And that's the reason why I brought up, let's be clear that it doesn't sound like, from what you shared to me, your cousin is doing anything malicious. Because if you want to approach this situation and it doesn't come from a space that makes you feel good, in an effort to approach it, you may be harsh and mean only because it's something that hurts you. And that may also make the situation worse, because your cousin may feel like, but it wasn't my intention to do so. So we need to do some digging deep here. We need to do some digging deep. We need to do some digging deep, number one, on what was said to you. We need to do some digging deep on who said it to you. And we need to do some digging deep on how what was said and who said it to you made you feel. Right? Because in family dynamics, a lot of things can shift contingent upon what's happening and who it's happening with. So I'll give you an example. There could be things that a cousin can say to you that could roll off your back. But if a sibling said it to you, it might sting a little harder because of the relationship you share with that person. Right? So if we were in the Healing Hearts one-on-one session, my first question would be, I would have to ask, why do you assume that what your cousin is saying, especially if you don't feel it's done with malice on her part, why do you assume that it would be hurtful to your daughter? And then I would have to ask, if you're assuming that it would be hurtful to her, is it hurtful to you? Has it happened to you? Who has it happened with? You understand what I'm saying? Because again, if that's the feeling that you have, of course you would feel that that's the feeling it's going to give your baby, right? And I would like to go back and examine, your feelings surrounding some of that colorful language and some of the vulgarity that was spewed on you and the way it made you feel. Also, I saw you say something about, not seeing your family often and things of that nature. So that would be another extension of the question, which is that a reason why you shied away from the family? Because you said something in your letter about your daughter doesn't see your family often. Why? Does that have something to do with the colorful language that they use and the way it made you feel, and you trying to safeguard your daughter from having those same feelings towards your family? Has that caused you to disconnect? Does that have an effect on you now, today? what is being connected from your family going to do to your daughter, and what does it do for your daughter? What's the pros and the cons of that? Again, in the beginning of this, dear Deja, I shared that this is a trauma-centered network. Trauma is tricky. Trauma is tricky because a lot of times folks will try to make you believe that trauma is somebody getting stabbed, getting shot, getting raped, doing jail time. You know what I'm saying? They would try to make you believe that those are the only things that you can have, you can be traumatized about, and you can have PTSD about being in the war. You know what I'm saying? When that's not the case. Anything can traumatize anybody, right? And what ends up happening is when you are faced with a traumatic situation, you have that fight or flight thing. And that's how you respond to what takes place with you moving forward. You try to build a defense mechanism, right? To prevent having that traumatized feeling again. When you build that defense mechanism, most times that's you protecting yourself from the trauma, but that's not you working through it. And I wonder, from what you shared, you being removed or disconnected or, not seeing your family often, is your defense mechanism is your defense mechanism for some of the vulgarity and colorful language they may use that might have hurt you. And is that also why you nor your baby see your family often? Because once again, you don't want to be traumatized by that situation. And again, I could be reaching. If we were doing an Operation Hill 100 Heart session, you could let me know. Like, oh, no, Khadijah, I love my family. It's nothing like that. Okay, no problem. Then that's a separate conversation. But unfortunately for me, I don't have you here in a one-on-one session. I have you in a Dear Deja letter. So I only have to go off of the feedback that you gave me in the Dear Deja letter. And what I got from the Dear Deja letter is there is some trauma surrounding those behaviors from your family that you have experienced. And because of that, you want to safeguard your daughter from feeling the same, which is what you're supposed to do. Let me be very clear. Let me be 100% clear. I am not at all saying that if you know or feel or think something that could hurt your baby, you should try your best to safeguard her from is wrong. No, I think it's 100% right. But I also wonder if you're operating from a hurt space, and because of that, you're inflicting your pain on your daughter. Right? So I think that we have to be very clear on how we address what's taking place, because you do not want it to be addressed from a space of trauma, because then it's not addressed properly. If you have trauma surrounding what you went through with your family, let's deal with that first. Okay? But before we do that, again, I could be wrong. So I just have to go off what you gave me from the letter. So let me give you some feedback about how to address this. First and foremost, you need to be clear, right? Because another thing is, if your cousin is just starting to engage with your daughter, and she doesn't know all of the things that you're trying to put in place as a parent, she only knows what she's been doing as far as parenting thus far. You know what I'm saying? So she may not be aware of your do's and your don'ts, right? And I know for me, I'm a person that I can come up with my own do's and don'ts when I'm around other people's kids, and also B, I can pay attention to what yours are, right? So I'll give you an example. Let's just say I go visit a friend, and when I walk in the door, I got a drink in my hand. If I walk in my friend's house and I have a drink in my hand, and I look around and see she has no alcohol around and she doesn't drink in her home, the next time I come, I'm not coming with a drink in my hand, because you don't drink in front of your motherfucking kids. So guess what? Neither am I. I want to be respectful, right? So that's just me. Okay? I would pay attention to those things, because I don't want to, in any event, be disrespectful towards you, and definitely not disrespectful towards no kids, right? So that's something that I would assess. She might not be able to pick up on those clues, right? And she may also not think, again, what she's doing. So you have to be clear. You have to be clear, cousin. You have to be clear. There's no way of getting around it, no way of getting across it. What you can say is, hey, sometimes you might be a little harsh on these girls. And I'll take it a step further. You can probably even include her children to kind of soften the blow, because sometimes I know that folks can feel away when you single children out, right? So it could make her feel like, oh, so you think your daughter better than everybody the fuck else? You know what I'm saying? So you can include her children as well. Girl, you can't be so harsh with these kids. You know, you can say little things. You can also model those behaviors with her. Again, the only reason why I don't totally conform to just using the modeling thing, because she may not even pay attention to those things that you do. She may just look at it as, okay, bitch, that's you. That's why I'm saying you have to directly say it, because, you know, she may not pay attention and catch on to the cues like I would, right? Now, granted, when you say it, you have to also be prepared that it may not be received well, no matter how nice and compassionate you try to make it. Most times it's people's automatic response and their default to get defensive when you say something against what they're saying or doing, me included. You know, I have not encountered one person on this planet where you can share something with them and that they disagree with, or that's against something that they're saying or doing, and they just automatically take it in and be happy that you share. No. If it's not body language, if it's not facial expression, it's the actual words to let you know initially. What? Now, granted, you have some folks that come around quicker than others, and they're able to say, okay, got it, you're right, And then you have others that take much longer, and then you have some that never come around. But I've never encountered a person that right off the back, when you said something against what they were saying, they were so receptive and easy to take it in. No. So you have to anticipate some pushback and some, you know, attitude and some shifting in the body language and some facial expressions, even if it's not verbalized, about what you're saying, because it may not be something that A, she agrees with, or that she likes, or that she wants to fucking hear, right? So anticipate that, right? After you're clear about what you're saying, you have to also keep in mind that this is really for your kid. Because that's another thing. It's one thing to be like, oh, okay, you know, I don't want you to do it to any kids, because, you know, it may not be nice, it may not be helpful, you may be hurting them, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, the only kid there is yours that you can protect. You can want to protect the others, but they're not your children. And you don't want to offend another parent by trying to act like you think you can parent or be more of a parent than they are. So if she's saying, listen, bitch, don't worry about some other kids that ain't your fucking business, you have to understand and respect that and anticipate that. You can just be clear on what's not going to happen with yours. Another thing is, another route you can take, and this is just being realistic, is that may not be the space for your daughter to be in. Now, I know, right? That sounds crazy to say. Coming from a big family and a tight-knit family, it is weird to be like, oh, my daughter can't spend a night at my brother's house because I don't like when he wakes them up at 6 a.m., right? It is weird to say that, because we come from a family of, I damn near lived with my aunts. My cousins damn near lived with me, so that's foreign to us. But if you have a particular way that you want to raise your baby, and it sounds like your baby father is on board with that as well, or your husband, I don't know, you didn't say, and you don't want to shy away from or waver in that, then you have to stand solid against anybody, even your other family members. I know you fucking lying. I'm recording. Pookie, I need a recording studio. Look at this bullshit. Anyway, we'll ignore. This is the ghetto. Sometimes that's going to require, and I've seen it happen, folks going head to head with some of the most important people in their life and some of the people that they love the most. You know, you probably could go head to head with your mother about your kid. You probably could go head to head with your baby father, mother, about your kid. You probably could go head to head with the closest sibling in your life about your kid. I'm going to tell you what my pops told me. You better be ready to go to war about your motherfucking kid. Okay? Now, granted, I don't want you to go to war. I want you and the cousin to come out on the other side in love and her having an understanding and y'all being able to come to a compromise and it working itself out. Beautiful. But if not, you have to understand that you're not doing this or saying this to your cousin to be malicious. You're just saying it to safeguard and protect your daughter, and you need to be able to speak up and do so. So the only advice I got for you right here, right now, which is two things, my dear, is you need to be clear on what you mean. And when I say clear, I mean you need to come with examples. Like, you need to be clear on when you lay it out for her, because you don't want to give her the opportunity to slide through the cracks and find loopholes and where you coming from, and then it becomes a debate and a back and forth with you just trying to safeguard and protect your kid from something you feel may hurt them. So you need to be clear on how you deliver what you have an issue with that your cousin is doing, right? You need to also anticipate that this conversation may not go the way you want it to go. It may not work out. You may leave out the door and you and your cousin ain't even speaking no more. Unfortunately, that could happen. You have to also be prepared, and I hope you prepared for this the moment you realize you was having a baby, to go to war about your children. Now, granted, you can be open-minded and understanding when it comes to your young people if you're getting feedback about them. But in any event, when it comes down to it, that's who God blessed you with. And that's who you need to safeguard and protect. If you feel like something is being done that's going to hurt them and that's detrimental to them, you need to protect them and safeguard them in those moments. So, I love that you're close with your family. I love that you don't want to hurt your cousin. And I love that you want this to go over well so you can continue to bring your daughter around. You can continue to spend time with your cousin. I want all of that. But you have to be prepared to also make it clear that although you want those things, you also have to, need to, and want to protect your baby. That's first priority. That's primary. Okay, now, like I said, I would appreciate if you come for a one-on-one session, because I would love to hear why you feel your daughter needs protection in this situation. What do you think would take place with what your cousin is doing, and also what took place with you when it was happening with you from your own family? But that's a deeper conversation in a one-on-one session. All right, my dear. All right. I don't think you have to beat your cousin ass. Again, I don't know your cousin personally, so don't nail me to the cross for that last statement. I'm praying that it's the holiday season and you won't beat your cousin ass. I pray that you can compassionately lay out, what's taking place, and she can be understanding of your feelings. And also understand that you're only trying to safeguard and protect your baby. It's no harm or no foul in that. Alrighty, so like I said, hopefully I hear from you for Operation Heal 100 Hearts one-on-one session. I am free the entire holiday season. So it would be a beautiful thing to sit and talk and have this conversation in depth so we can go deep on some of the things you experienced from your family and the ways that it traumatized and hurt you. All right? So, once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. I love Dear Deidre. Expect more to come after the new year. I have so much to tell you guys. Make sure you go hit the thumbs up and like this video. Now that you've gotten all the way to the end. If you're right here, you're at the end of the video. So, I expect you to be in the comments laying it on me. Hey, I like what you said. Hey, I didn't agree with what you said. Hey, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? I want to hear your feedback. I love to hear your feedback. Alrighty, I'm not objected to it. I'm not against it. I welcome all of it. Right? Thank you for tuning in. If you think that this video would resonate with anybody copy, paste, send it to them. Send them to me for a Healing Heart session. Follow me on IG, Operation Heal 100 Hearts, just like the YouTube channel name. Thank you for tuning in. I love you guys and I appreciate you. Still working on the DHB Day tour. I'll keep you guys posted. Enjoy your holiday season.